It's Saturday evening. It's time to talk about the very best comic books of the week. And here with me, as always, is Drew from Comics Lead. How you doing, Drew?
Doing great, Wes. It's a beautiful Saturday. College football is going on right now, but I always make time to talk about the best comics of the week. So let's talk about the very best comics of the week.
Very nice. Taking a break from sports ball to talk a little bit of geek. Let's hit the indie comic books first. The first recommendation, it's easily the biggest recommendation, is The Sacrificers, #2, Image Comics, Rick Remender, Dave McCraig. In the very first issue, we got introduced to this new world. There's a sacrifice coming. The firstborn of these families end up getting taken on a quest or probably a trip to the stockyard so they can be sacrificed to like the sun god or whatever. And I really like that in this issue, we get introduced to a new group of sacrificers, but they're wholly on board. They are true believers. They've gone through it the whole way. They're celebrated on the way out of town. A much different reaction to these events than like the pigeon people that we did see. They were very crestfallen to have to give up their firstborn son. And there's these differing points of view about what being a sacrificer means and what they're moving towards. And there's all kinds of rumors. And Remender does a really great job of just building tension up as you're moving to the final page where you get this big reveal. And I must say, it didn't feel like a swerve for swerve's sake, but it's not the reveal I was expecting. I thought it was just tremendously well done.
Yeah, so real quick about the reveal. I had a flashback to the original Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder when they're sent to the big candy vault. And it's a sense of like, it's kind of could this be a like, be careful what you wish for type of situation? Are they going to get some type of ironic deaths after this? Or did they die, as a matter of fact? I don't know. There's a couple pages of just nothing but black and some captions, but like, we don't know. It's a great mystery. But this comic, wow, this is on a whole other level. There's so much to unpack with this issue. I feel like it almost needs a video for itself. But there are so many great topics going on here, like from class to religion to hunger to victim mentalities to power to just belief. By any other writer like Chip Zdarsky or Saladin Ahmed or the X-Men office, these topics can come across as very ham-fisted, lazy, and just one-sided topics. But Rick Remender is showing how great he really is as a writer by showing all sides of these topics. No one is truly right or wrong per se, and they're all written as characters here, not caricatures. No one, and by the end of this, wow, I mean, this could go so many different ways, but I cannot wait to see where issue 3 goes. The art in this as well is beautiful. The pigeon sacrificer himself, he has so much emotion on his face, and he's written so much like a good person that you can't help but be sympathetic toward him and root for him in this story. This is by far the best comic of the week and may be one of the best comics at the end of 2023. If you're not reading this right now, fix yourself and pick up The Sacrificers.
I like what you had to say there, Drew, because as a believer myself, when I'm reading comic books or even a lot of mainstream entertainment, if I'm just consuming mainstream entertainment, a lot of times I do feel like I'm being patronized or I'm being talked down to. But he's not treating me like I'm stupid.
Yes, like I said, like any of those writers' names I just mentioned, they would treat you like you're stupid, like you're an idiot, like your point of view is wrong and their point of view is correct. But here, we're seeing all their different points of views. No one, like I said, no one is truly right. No one is truly wrong. Are they right? Are they wrong? We don't know. Maybe, but they all believe differently. That's what makes them great characters. And the character of the pigeon himself, he's very much like Job from the book of Job. You know, just all the suffering, but he still believes through all of it. You know, as he's being drugged through the mud, and it's a great character, and you really want to root for him and hope that he makes it out on top. This is a great comic. Rick Remender is a great writer.
Definitely feels like Rick Remender is back on his witty ways. This is the best thing I've read for him in quite some time. We have another indie comic book review, although this one I don't believe comes out until the 13th, but you've already checked it out. You wanted to recommend Red Room Crypto Killaz #4 Fantagraphics. Ed Piskor writing and illustrating on this one. A lot of people know who Ed Piskor is. He did one of those Marvel Comics Grand Design comic books back in the day. He also, I believe, is on the Comic Book Kayfabe channel and all that kind of stuff. I remember us talking about this, but it feels like there hasn't been an issue for a very long time.
Yeah, and I think the numbers being ordered are kind of low, and I think we only got 1 or 2 issues of the previous issue. The previous issue was good. It was hard to recommend the previous issue, but it was okay. But this one was really, really damn good, and it's being pitched as the final issue of the series. But we'll see what happens. So this is more or less very wild, graphic, insane, violent, and page-turning. So in this, we get the origin of the most famous Red Room torturer, and good God, it's incredibly tragic and immensely graphic. And what they go through, if you read Born of Blood and thought what I put Jarrus through, it doesn't even come close to this. The one big selling point is the art by Ed Piskor. It's beautiful, it's horrific, and painstakingly amazing. I can't begin to imagine how long it took him to do a single page, let alone a panel. And if you look closely as well, Ed Piskor is in this book in a few pages. But it's a strong recommend for me from Red Room Crypto Killaz #4. But buyer beware, it's not out yet, and it is incredibly graphic and intense with adult subject matter. Ed Piskor is one of the very best independent creators today, in my point of view.
So if you got kids in the house, don't leave this bad boy lying around. You're likely to give them nightmares and get in a little bit of trouble with your wife or whatever. Let's go over to Marvel Comics because we actually have 2 Marvel Comics to recommend this week. It's a soft recommend for me on Moon Knight 27, Jed MacKay, Federico Sabatini. The execution, I think, on this could be a little bit better, but we do get a lot of payoff to everything Jed MacKay is kind of been building out for like 2 years now with the Black Spectre and what his big plan is and how it's all coming together. It does involve a pretty gross villain that I do not like. I do not like this villain, but Moon Knight and Harvest Moon put him to good use to enter the mind of a guy that I think he's in a coma or maybe he's just knocked out, but they want to figure out the plan. And when you see the reveal of what the plan is, I'm not sure if he planned this all out, but it's better than I expected that it could be. The art in here is absolutely fantastic. Sabatini being the best backup artist in all of comic books right now. And there is a pretty good amount of action in here.
Yeah, it's a kind of a trippy issue as well because they're going into someone's mind because Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon, they're desperate. They're desperate to trying to find out who the identity of the Black Spectre is. So they go into Vibro's mind to find out who it is, and they get their answer. But they also figure out what the plan is, and it's a big plan, what they want to do, and it's not looking good for New York City. But yeah, it's fun. It was a very fun, wild ride, very trippy ride. And the art in this, once again, is really, really good. This is one of the best comics, again, from Marvel Comics. Unfortunately, it's not too consistent anymore as it used to be, but it's still good. It's still recommendable. But yeah, I think you could do a hell of a lot worse this week than with Moon Knight. It's still a very fun, wild ride.
Oh, certainly Marvel Comics. But I do maintain that Incredible Hulk has overtaken Moon Knight as the best series.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, it's only been 3 issues right now, and it has overtaken Moon Knight. Yes.
Yeah. So this next recommendation, I actually haven't read because I gave up on Amazing Spider-Man, but you are recommending ASM 33, Zeb Wells, Patrick Gleason returning on art. I didn't even know that. They didn't even publicize that Patrick Gleason was going to be illustrating an issue of Amazing Spider-Man, which is a reason to actually buy the comic book. Do they not realize how amazing this guy is?
No, they don't. And I think it really goes back to their business strategy where they don't want to celebrate the artist. They want to celebrate the character. The character is more important than the artist, which is a crock, and we both know it. Everyone knows it. I mean, we're there for Patrick Gleason. I respect JR for what he did. Great artist, legacy, but Patrick Gleason is really on the top of his game right now. That's what I'm coming to see. And but yeah, it's crazy. I am recommending this issue. However, I say this because I strongly believe that Zeb Wells Frank Drebin his way into writing a good comic. Now, what does that mean, you may ask? Well, Frank Drebin was a character played by Leslie Nielsen in the Naked Gun movies, who by accident, a lot of times, would take out the bad guys. Famously, in the second film, he backed over 2 people in his car who luckily turned out to be drug dealers. So, yes, Zeb Wells Frank Drebin's his way into writing a good comic here because, honestly, he's only written 1 other good issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and the other 31 were ice cream for individuals who didn't think critically about what they were reading. You like that, Wes? Yeah. It's written very much as a follow-up to Kraven's Last Hunt, which we all know is the greatest Spider-Man story of all time. But with a twist, Spidey in this has taken a much darker turn now and wants payback for what happened. Spider-Man is now the hunter, and Kraven is the hunted. I really dig that. And what happens at the end, holy crap. Did not see that happening with Vermin. It's great. The pacing, the action, the drama, the art, holy crap. This was a good and a well-done Frank Drebin comic by Zeb Wells. And for the first time in a long time, I'm looking forward to the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man.
I believe Leslie Nielsen was also Frank Drebin in Police Squad. Isn't that where they got the movie from? It was a TV show for a season?
Yeah, it was a TV. Yeah, from the Files of Police Squad. Yes, Police Squad was the show on TV. Then it became Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad on the movies.
And if you've never seen the Naked Gun series, fix yourself immediately because it's one of the greatest things you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, two of the greatest films ever.
Ruined his reputation.
Yes, yeah. Before he ruined his reputation, two of the greatest. There were 3 films, but the first 2 are hysterical, and from the guys who brought you Airplane, Top Secret. Yeah, great stuff.
Don't forget Hot Shots, man. What are you?
Oh, and and Hot Shots. Yes, I forgot Hot Shots. Yeah, another great one.
Hot Shots.
Yeah,
this is another good one. Now let's go over to DC Comics. We have one comic book to recommend. Still getting over the nightmare that was Night Terrors. What an absolute waste that was. But we're going to recommend Shazam #3, Mark Waid, Dan Mora. It feels like a lifetime ago when I read the second issue. I actually had to go back and catch up and remember what exactly had happened. And I was like, oh, yeah, the captain is malfunctioning. All of a sudden, Billy can't quite keep control of himself. He's not sure why things aren't going right. And in this comic book, we actually get the explanation. It turns out all the gods with the powers that are behind Shazam do not think that he's doing a good job and that he is not representing them well. So they're taking turns, taking over while Billy takes a back seat. It's an interesting concept. I don't know how to feel about it exactly, but I can get along with some ridiculous things every now and then. It certainly doesn't hurt that Dan Moore's art is just so phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I like you, I completely forgot about this series thanks to the wet fart that was Night Terrors. Yeah, June was the last time that was issue 2 came out, and I completely forgot. Oh my God, there's also a Green Lantern series and a Green Arrow series. Remember Green Arrow? Holy crap! But yeah, the first 2 issues of this were just fun, and this issue was just as fun. I have to compliment Dan Mora once again. His art in this is god tier. How he draws the gods in this, I want an issue with just the gods kicking ass. They're drawn as actual gods brought to life and treated with incredible respect by him. Next, Mark Waid. This story with the gods trying to take control of the captain, and they're each individually vying for control and giving crap to Solomon because he isn't a god. And I love it. That's great stuff. It's fun. And then we get the talking gorillas, dinosaurs, shenanigans on the moon with a deep pull Doom Patrol villain. It's just simply fun. This is comic books. This is how comic books should be. And I love the superheroics in this, and it's a shame more DC comics aren't like this, in my opinion. And I will say this right now, Mark Waid, Dan Mora are the best team at the big 2 right now. And no one else really comes close to these guys, and because they get the respect that the characters deserve, and they know how comic books should be told. The story should be told. And yeah, this is just fun.
Mark Waid has had some troubles writing dialogue for children over the last decade or so, and this feels a little bit better. I don't think he's trying to be serious. I think that's what makes it better.
Absolutely. Like he said, he is having fun with this. He's enjoying the series for what it is. And Billy, once again, I got the character Billy Batson himself. For the longest time, he was, since the New 52, he was just written as an insufferable, evil brat. But now he's back to being the good kid that he really was pre-New 52. And I really enjoy that. And Mark Waid gets that. This is who Billy Batson really is. He's a good kid.
Well, I do want to say thank you very much to Drew for showing up and talking the very best comic books. I interrupted your Coach Prime special. You got anything else to say to the peeps?
Let's go Buffaloes. And be sure to check out Unholy Nightmare, Halloween Night. We launch my self-published comic with Aurelio Mazzara. Stay tuned, guys.
Also, be sure to check out my Patreon. There's a link in the video description. We got a lot of new content that's going to be going on up there if you're interested in supporting the channel. We are at the end of the road. Another fantastic Saturday best of the week review with Drew from Comics Elite. Absolutely had a great time talking about those wonderful comic books, and I imagine you are as sad as I am. You want the show to continue. It just so happens I've made a ton of comic book YouTube videos, and YouTube has looked at what you like to watch and what I like to create and decided this is the best video I ever created my entire life as a comic book content creator just for you. You should check it out right now. It'll be some fun.